So we're here today with Daisy Hobbs. You're an Operations Degree Apprentice at Greencore. So can you tell us a bit about yourself, your apprenticeship and the company that you work for?
Yeah, so I'm 19 years old. Went straight into the apprenticeship from end of sixth form, so when I was 18. Sort of learnt about degree apprenticeships in the second year of sixth form, and then kind of ruled out university in general and was sort of heart set on getting an apprenticeship. Greencore is a food manufacturing site, not that many people have heard of it.
Yeah, it's quite niche.
It's a private label company, so we make foods for all major sort of supermarkets.
Yeah.
But obviously the company's like logos and names are on it. We've recently merged with a company called Backavall, which is also a food manufacturing company, a private label, but they hire something like 120 apprentices a year.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Really invested in apprenticeship.
yeah, massively investing in younger people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so like how did you, especially for an industry which is quite niche, so how did you kind of find your apprenticeship and what was like the interviewing process like for you?
Okay, so I live in quite a rural area. So originally, I always had my heart set on law.
Yes.
I know that you're doing a 7 semester apprenticeship. So originally that was all I was looking for, sort of level 7 solicitors, but where I just live so far from it, and they're so competitive.
Yes, yeah.
I thought I just needed to look a bit more broader. And where I live, a lot of sort of factories and manufacturing companies were nearby, and they had like management apprenticeships. And that was something I sort of looked into, and I applied, just in case, and ended up going for some interviews. And
Yeah, the rest is history.
yeah, and I'm glad that I went down the route.
Yeah.
And sort of looked for it. As for the interviewing, obviously, similar with most sort of, well, not just degree, but a lot of apprentices, we did the assessment centres.
Yeah.
Which we did online. I don't know if they've started doing them in person again. I know.
Yeah.
After COVID,
It's really weird. Yeah.
so sort of did like a on the phone interview, an assessment centre online with something like 20 people, and then sort of went in for an interview, and then that was all the stages.
Oh, okay.
And obviously got offered the job at Greencore, went in for an induction, and then started.
That's amazing.
September of the following year.
Yeah, that's really good, and it just shows that sometimes it really works out. Just not even like I said, you had a different career in mind at the start, and to like just by looking at different apprenticeships available and finding one that hopefully suits you quite well.
Yeah,
that's incredible. So like based on that, kind of what kind of advice would you give to those kind of looking to come into the apprenticeship space, especially those who are applying and it is so competitive, they're facing rejection and all of that? What kind of advice would you give to them?
I'd say don't look so narrow.
Yeah.
Like me, I was only applying for one apprenticeship and I wouldn't have ended up getting an apprenticeship wides like that. So go broad, even apply for things that you might not think are anything you'd be interested in. Because a lot of the apprentices that we have on site obviously work in food manufacturing. It's not everybody's sort of first choice that they think they'd be doing, but almost all of the apprentices love what they're doing, enjoy the apprenticeship and wouldn't have done anything else. So looking at things, and not only that, the experience of interviewing. It's very helpful. I went for several interviews at different sort of apprenticeships, and even the experience of talking to big groups just it sort of fuels you for the next steps and things. So I wouldn't say take the rejections as sort of negatives. You've learned from all that experience, and they are very competitive.
And I think especially like to say, obviously you're 19, so you've come into the apprenticeship stage straight after school, so and it's a lot, like it's a job it's like a proper job interview, whereas with like college, university, it's not like that. So facing that rejection, it can take a lot, can be very disheartening for a lot of people. So I think it's so important what you said, but not letting that rejection like demotivate you kind of thing, and letting it fuel you even more. So I think that's so important. So how do you like find balancing it, because obviously you did a degree apprenticeships, which is amazing, so you went straight to the deep end. How do you find balancing your work and your studies along with your personal life? What kind of advice would you kind of give to those who are struggling with the balancing side of things?
I think it differs per workplace. I know sometimes we can have busy months where you're sort of flat out at work. I say all apprentice employers sort of have that sort of 6 hours a week that you should get delegated to sort of study. So it's just about having that someone to speak to at work if you need that time.
Yeah.
My workplace is really good with giving me sort of like 12 hours, obviously because I work shift, so 12-hour days.
Yeah.
So if I need that time to sort of catch up with uni work, catch up with anything I need to do, they're helpful with that. Also the pro of working shifts is I work sort of 3 12-hour shifts, so I actually get 4 days off.
Oh wow,
a week.
okay.
And sort of that, it's plenty of time for me to sort of fit in what I do, but I know plenty of people are different that work sort of 5 days, and then obviously you go into uni and you're writing assignments, which can be quite difficult.
And it's that balancing, isn't it? It prevents that burnout and stuff.
Yeah, I know plenty of people sort of struggle with things like this. Universities are usually very helpful with extensions to help. Employers, it should be sort of mentors, workplace mentors, having someone to sort of talk to.
Yeah.
It's usually good when on the site you've had previous apprentices, so they sort of know what to do with you. Yeah. But I know sometimes when you're the first, people don't really understand sort of the workload that you're doing. But just, I'd say keeping something you're enjoying. Yeah. So don't drop any hobbies, and then I believe that your sort of study should come first with regards to work. So just sort of making sure your employer is aware of that.
And I think it's really good that your employer, especially, it seems like has a fantastic apprenticeship program, and you have such a good apprenticeship like network within you. So it's nice that, you know, especially for someone who's coming straight from school and doesn't know what it's like, doesn't know what the world of work is like. And for those who may never have had a kind of job before the apprenticeship, to kind of have that level of support, not only from your managers and your mentors and your tutors in uni, but also the apprentices at your workplace. So that's fantastic, and it's great that Greencore has those resources available to you, which is amazing. So did you kind of like, I know you said you've always kind of wanted to do an apprenticeship, and you were very fixated on like, I don't want to do university, which is fantastic. Did you face any challenges from maybe family or school or peers from like choosing an apprenticeship over a university route?
My family are very supportive of the idea. It seemed sort of beneficial around because I'm still going to university, sort of getting the qualification, it's just paid for, and I'm getting sort of full-time salary at where I'm working. Friends were different. I think we went to a sixth, and the sixth one were very adamant about university, and there were limited resources about apprenticeships to the fact that they weren't even sort of discussed. So it was more going out and finding my own research, but I didn't really sort of like that put off. And now when I speak to my friends now, they think it's amazing that I'm doing the same thing as them, but just minus the debt.
And have these skills that you get, and it is such a shame because you hear from so many apprentices that have been in the same position as you, where they don't have those resources at school, and a lot of them get disheartened, I think, because when something, so unfortunately one route is suited for everyone, so university isn't suited for everyone, and for those who may know that, like, so if you knew that university wasn't for you and you want to do the apprenticeship scene, but not to have that level of support, it can be quite discouraging, disheartening. So like, how, also that's an additional question, but how did you find that kind of motivation to keep going for the apprenticeship space, especially if you were applying and not hearing back and stuff?
I think I was very adamant to sort of like, especially when you're in sixth form, they're very adamant about writing sort of your personal statement, and time consuming when you're trying to look for your own sort of thing to do. But I think just being sort of like stern about what you're doing, you know what you want to do, loads of research, speaking to people that might have done similar routes. And I was just so certain that I wanted to do it that there was so much research done. I knew that there was opportunities, and I knew that if I wasn't going to get an apprenticeship the first year, I wanted to take a gap year and then just try again next year. That's how certain I was.
That's amazing to have that level of drive. It's amazing.
I thought it was just the perfect route. And you know, I'm still getting sort of that university experience. There wasn't really any downside to doing it, and I thought that was just the best option.
Brilliant. That's really good. So final question, and this is not really an apprenticeship question, but more like, what's your go-to lunch when you're in the office? So do you say you alternate between, you're not always in the office, you sometimes work from home? Oh, you're always
on site. Okay. Usually, like, we work in the factory sort of. Okay. By an office.
Okay, amazing. So what's your go-to lunch then when you're in the office?
We have a canteen.
Okay.
However, I do bring my own lunch. So I sort of prep my meals. So I have 3 breaks.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I bag all of them. So the first, so I have like yogurt, sort of peanut butter, things like this. Second lunch, I'll have maybe pasta.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
And then my third lunch, I'll probably just have a sweet treat.
Yeah, you timed that really well.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, I find it hard. So I work quite hybridly, and when I'm in the office, it's so easy. So it's the meal prep and stuff. When you're home, it's easy. I'm like, I know what's in the fridge.
Yeah.
Cook the night before, I can eat it. But then sometimes when I'm going to the office, I don't have time to meal prep.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, and I'm terrible for it. I'm like, oh, I know Greg's around the corner. I'll just go and spend money at Greg. So it's so good that you spread it out, and you're not flagging later on during the day.
Exactly. It's repetitive meals. We also, on site, we have a staff shop, because obviously we're producing the food. They have like a shop where they sell the food just really discounted.
That's really
The thing is, we make like coleslaws though, and I don't think I'd want to eat a pot of coleslaw for lunch, but they're something like 10p, so I'd take it home and maybe eat that.
Yeah, and again, that's with Greencore, and I know we were saying this, I was like, oh, it's such an amazing company, I've never heard of them before, but and I think for a lot of maybe apprentices who are looking for apprenticeships, they wouldn't think maybe, oh, a food manufacturing company. And it's so good to know that, to have someone representing a food manufacturing company, but also to know there's benefits not only as an apprentice, but also as working for a food manufacturer, that you wouldn't think that, actually, you know what, I'm on site all the time, but these are the benefits that I get. And it is so different, and it shows that everyone's path as an apprentice isn't linear, and it is different, which is so great to see. So that's amazing. How long have you got left of your apprenticeship then?
So I'm in my second year.
Amazing.
2 years after, because it's a chartered, so you do like the 3 years university, and then the fourth year you get the sort of chartered status.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
But yeah,
It must like be flying by.
Yeah, it is going very quickly.
Yeah. But that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming in today. It's such a great story, and I'm sure that a lot of like listeners who will be listening in, and especially a lot of aspiring apprentices, will find it really useful. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.